2020 has been a spectacular year for everyone involved, no matter
Has
who
it?
you are. Yep,
Are you sure?
every single person. And one of the best parts is the fact that there's no fucking new movies. And
Well,
they'll come
there
out on
are,
VOD.
just not in theaters.
I know. I'm
Yeah, I have
pretty
to
pissed.
search far and wide on illegal sites for them.
I know. It's ridiculous. But we've compiled the top 10 of the halfway point of the year so far. And let me just say, boy, has it been a journey.
Yeah, my list has literally no competition. There's no movie that's jockeying for 10. It's 10, everything else.
Yup.
I did have a little bit of trouble for number 10.
So let's start at number 10. My number 10 of the year is Scoob. It's okay.
Wow, Jake's list obviously is the worst of ours.
What a
Let me-
resounding...
Let me talk positively about it. It reuses the classic Hanna-Barbera sound effects for
It
when they do things.
Slap like a when he runs. and
Yes.
stuff. That shit slaps.
I will say for most of it, it does feel like you're watching that classic cartoon in the good way. And I respect that they did something different and new with it, as opposed to just rehashing the same old, what's new Scooby-Doo stuff. But I think this is... look, 1 through 9 are good movies. This one's okay. I don't know what to tell you.
I also saw Scoob. It is not on my list.
Right.
But
So
you
who
know
wants
what-
to go second?
You know what is on my list, though?
I
Oh,
did
boy.
Not watch.
Now, my number 10 is The Banker,
Okay.
which is a biopic starring Samuel L. Jackson and Anthony Mackie. It's about 2 black real estate agents in the 1960s who, with the help of a white man played by Nick Holt, can buy and sell real estate in markets that they wouldn't have been able to work in normally, because they were black in the 60s. Very engaging film. Nick Holt and Anthony Mackie in particular. Oh my God.
Nick Holt is like my favorite actor, basically. I
There's
think he's
this
infinitely
scene
talented.
where like the first time Nick Holt's like faking like business and stuff, and Anthony Mackie's going over everything with him, and he's like, "You need to be able to do this." And Nick Holt just goes, "I'll just memorize it." Anthony Mackie's like, "You can do that," and then it cuts to Nick Holt like rattling everything off with just full unbridled confidence.
Yes.
And he's not. They're like, "Wow, you can do some amazing mental math in your head," and it cuts back to Anthony Mackie just drilling it in, and he's not actually doing math; he's just repeating everything Anthony Mackie said to him,
That's
and it's
so
amazing.
funny. I love that.
But he's like convincing everyone that he's this like real estate genius.
I'm
Okay.
watching that one.
Yeah.
Put it on the list. Because my number 10 is the movie I watched legitimately. Did I watch it yesterday or 2 days ago? Doesn't matter. Bad Education.
Hey.
Acting, fantastic. Character interaction, fantastic. The movie, all right. I didn't get gripped by the plot at any point. The only plot that I was like really interested in was the girl's plot of like digging through everything with the newspaper with guy from Jumanji
Yes.
as her editor. I thought that was fantastic and interesting, and then like the rest of the plot, I was like, okay, yeah, this is plot, and then it keeps going, and I'm like, this is very grounded and real, and then I found out it was grounded and real, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, and then it was over, and I'm like, the acting's phenomenal.
I'm going to tell you why that movie is so awesome in like 8 movies from now.
I
Same.
thought it was good, but I didn't get gripped by it as much as I should have.
I understand.
And I thought it was more just, it's being marketed as like a dark comedy or a black
That I
comedy.
strongly
It's
disagree
not.
with.
It's
It's a
just a
drama.
drama.
It's
This
a
movie
straight-up
is
drama.
straight up drama. There's nothing funny.
I did not laugh at that movie once.
I
It's just a drama.
laughed a lot at it. There's some really standout great moments. But my number 5 is The Nine Bloods, except flip that around. Spike
What?
Lee did a Netflix movie. It's super mega awesome. I wasn't a huge fan of the overall end product. I think there are some really standout scenes, and I feel like how Ian does about Bad Education, where like there's a lot of really good elements in it. I think the movie overall has a few kind of like narrative issues. and
Wait,
does-
hang on. You're talking about Da Five Bloods.
What else would I talk about?
Oh, well, I'm talking about Da Five Bloods because that's my number
my
9 as
guy,
well.
we're in this.
I'll talk
Okay.
about how awesome this movie is 8 movies from now.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's some really standout parts. There's some killer performances, but I don't think it's better than the sum of its parts.
I agree. Well, I think overall it's a really decent movie. It's why it's
Yeah,
fine
no,
list.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Like, Spike Lee doesn't make bad movies.
True.
It's good. It's just like, I don't know. Like, there are some fantastic parts. Like, I really like the ending. I really like the beginning. But honestly, the middle section after they find the gold kind of loses me.
Well, there's some also like it's difficult to talk about why I love it so much because all of them are spoiler scenes.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like I can't like go into detail, but there's a scene involving a minefield that is really
so good.
Fantastic.
really
scene.
strong for me, and it stands out as like maybe the best scene. One of the best scenes this year.
The acting's phenomenal. I feel like it's a little too long.
I agree. That's
And
one of the
there are
reasons.
some points where I feel like characters make decisions for the sake of plot rather than the sake of like internal consistency.
And that kind of bothers me because so many characters are really, really good and well written in this movie
and
too.
then there's one scene in particular where something happens and I'm like, why the fuck did everyone just stand around and let that happen?
Yep.
But other than that, fantastic movie, 8 out of 10.
Okay. Ian, what's your
My
actually
number 9. We're talking Pete Davidson. We're talking comedy. We're talking Machine Gun Kelly. It's Big Time Adolescence. It's not the other one.
Yep,
Because
I
it's
knew
the
you were gonna-
same fucking thing. This movie's just a fun little comedy about, not even about Pete Davidson. It's about the kid that he interacts with and how Pete Davidson's shitty life is impacting on this kid's life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really, really funny. I straight up, like, I'm not a big just like he who comedy guy, but this was he who comedy, and I just enjoyed myself. It's a nice movie to just put on, watch, have a good time, and sit back and relax.
Nice.
Nothing phenomenal. Great lesson. I feel like the lesson learned in it is really, really good, and it's just consistently a good time. Nothing spectacular, but nothing bad.
I'll have to check that out.
I meant to check it out.
I like the other one with Pete Davidson and Machine Gun Kelly.
Which-
comedy.
Oh, we'll
talk
talk
about
about that
later.
one later.
We
Yeah.
all will. We all will.
Yep.
But my number 8 for now, I'm sure, is on your lists as well. The Platform on Netflix.
Ah,
Ah ha 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 ha.
I'll talk about that one in
Yeah.
a little bit.
I will talk about that never.
Fair enough. This movie was almost awesome. It is a really, really great movie with a lot of good themes. A little heavy-handed sometimes, but really great themes until the last like 10 minutes. Literally
And it
right
just-
up to the end.
It just gets so weird.
It's so weird, drops off, doesn't make any logical sense, doesn't make any artistic sense either. And I don't know, it really kind of screwed the pooch
Much
right at
like
the end.
Panna Cotta, the message gets lost.
The message is completely lost and pointless now.
What?
But anyway, I aside from the ending, the only other negatives I'd have about it would be like I was saying, it's a little heavy-handed. They even address the issues it's trying to talk about directly as text instead of subtext sometimes.
I got a fucking negative about this movie.
Do you want to
Let me
jump
tell
in,
you.
even though it's
Yeah,
not on your list?
It's not on my list. It got etched out by the banker for number 10. But let me fucking tell you, Netflix plays this fucking movie in English by default if you're in an English-speaking
They do.
country.
I was
It's a
like-
Spanish film.
I was
Give
talking-
me it in Spanish with fucking
God.
subtitles.
I
Oh
was-
my god.
I was talking to you at the beginning of the movie, and I was like, why are the words not matching what
The
the,
lips.
subtitles are? No, they was matching the lips, but it wasn't matching the subtitles.
Ah.
And I was like, hey, why is it not matching the subtitles? And you were like, it's in Spanish. I'm like, no, it's in fucking English. I can hear it, Mud. I'm not dumb. And you're like, set it to its default language. Didn't know it didn't default it.
It
was like, why
defaulted-
the fuck do you not default the movie?
It defaulted to English for me, no subtitles, so I'm watching it, and the guy's talking, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with his lips?
Yeah, straight up. I
He's
was
not,
just so
it's not matching
confused.
what he's saying.
Yep.
And then I checked, and it was like, languages, and it was like English, Spanish, native, and I was like, are you fucking
Yeah, I was only
stupid?
like 2 minutes in, so I didn't get
Are you-
impacted by it that much. But I was like, what the
I
fuck?
had it fixed before the platform even actually showed up.
Yeah.
But like, don't fucking default me to dub for a live action film. Holy
Yeah,
shit, that's
it
the
was
most
really weird.
distracting thing you can do.
Yep. I was like, why are the words not matching? I always have subtitles on Netflix, Hulu, anything, because I like subtitles when I watch movies
Yeah.
by myself.
No, that's fine. I didn't have subtitles on, but I was heated.
Yeah, it was
know?
very, very concerning.
So yeah, it's heavy-handed.
Yeah. Sorry, we hijacked that from you.
That's fair enough.
Anyways,
I
my
was pretty much
turn.
done.
Number 8. It's Vivarium.
Hey, okay.
What
I
a
haven't watched this one
what
yet.
a trippy little movie. You know, it's pretty predictable, personal opinion. For all the weird shit that happens, I knew where it was going the entire time. Like from like the second that character showed up, I was like, he's gonna be this, and then we're just gonna end here, and it did. And there aren't a lot of explanations, but it's not a movie that really needs explanations. It's just a movie that you watch for like an hour and a half, and at the end go, what the actual fuck? And Imogen Poots, fantastic acting from her.
Yes.
Oh my god, she carries this film.
Yes, I'll even throw it out to like our classic Eisenberg. I think he
He did good.
I'm gonna talk about this movie also later, but I think that his performance, especially with like the hole and his determination,
Yes.
was awesome.
I can't give it up for Eisenberg because weirdly enough, I saw a different movie with him in it that's not on my top 10 list that I think he did better in.
That's funny.
Was it? Oh, I think I know what you're talking
Resistance,
about.
where
Yep.
he plays Marcel Marceau.
Yep.
Yep,
Where
that's
he
funny.
plays Pierre
The
France.
movie overall, not that good, but him in it, pretty fucking good.
Fair enough.
That is good though.
So Vivarium, number 8.
My number 8 is All Day and the Night, and I almost forgot what this movie was until I just read it. So
That's how good it
you know
was.
it was really good. No, I think the character interaction and the acting in this movie, some of the best all year. Same problem that I have with Bad Education. The movie's just not that interesting and a little too long. Bad Education, not too long. This one, a little too long. But I think the acting and the message outweigh the negatives a little bit more for this one.
Yeah.
And overall, it's just a really strong film.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun watching it. The soundtrack also bumps.
Ian, I'm in the same boat. I barely remember All Day and a Night. It's one of the first movies I watched this year. Number 7 is The Wretched.
Number 7 is The Wretched.
It is. Hey, my guy, we're in this. So this movie is really, really good. I saw this in a drive-in, actually. You probably saw it on
LegalSite.com.
on a very legal site.com. You bought a DVD copy at Walmart.
I did that with Guns Akimbo.
Yeah, you did. But this movie is actually really spectacular in the horror genre. Probably the best horror this year, I think. Maybe not Invisible Man. I don't know.
No, not the best horror movie this year, but an amazing blend of a horror movie and a teen comedy.
Yeah, there's some good bits.
Wow, it is amazingly just mixed together. And I won't spoil it, but the fucking plot twist of this movie.
I was telling you before you watched it, watch out for the plot twist. It's
you were
so
like, "There's a
good.
plot twist," and I was like, "Oh, come on, this is." And then it happened, and I was like, "Oh!" And it's one of those good plot twists where they were sowing the seeds the entire time. Like I had a thought
Love
at the
stuff like
beginning
that.
when she's like, "Aren't you a talented artist?" And I looked at the cast and I was like, "He drew one thing on it, lady. Shut the fuck up." And then the twist, and I was like,
Yep.
"Oh,
That his
God.
actual cast is actually the killer jumping off of his arm.
It's like the thing in the James Bond movie
They
we
ripped
watched.
the cast off, and Old Man Jenkins is underneath, and it's like, I would have gotten away with it.
Yeah, so I won't spoil it. But,
Yeah.
oh my God, the plot twist in The Wretched, fantastic. I have a couple
Absolutely.
issues with it. Like the
Me too.
ending's pretty cliche, and I don't like that he didn't save everyone.
There are a few stock jump scare moment sound effect times.
Yeah.
Those are always
But
bad.
there's some really good scenes in this movie. And there's some really good acting too.
Yeah.
The main guy, I think his name's like John Paul Howard. Get a last name, and
Got him.
you'll have yourself a career.
John Paul Howard.
Yep.
3
Because right now he
first
doesn't
names.
making movies.
It's a hyphenated first name and then a last name. John Paul
yeah.
Howard.
I forget what I'd give it out of 10, but I rank it highly amongst the
8 out
list.
of 10.
Alright.
Another 8 out of 10 for me.
So remember when you guys talked about the platform 3 seconds ago?
Yup.
This movie, I'm going to put this really short. You guys talked about a lot of stuff I like. This movie would have been a 9, and then it ended.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
if it had ended better, I think Platform would have been my number 1 of the year.
It would have been probably my number 4, maybe 3. I don't know. But, like, it would have been higher than 7, because I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It didn't feel too long. It didn't feel too heavy-handed to me.
There were some parts.
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
Me too.
And at the it picks up so much during the
Oh,
climax.
the final
climax
descent,
where him
the
and
final
Bharat
descent
are
is-
on the thing. It
And
is
he's
a
got a-
banger.
he has
You're
a
just watching
katana.
them kill people, and it's like this slaps, and then it ends, and I'm like, where'd the movie go? And I was so mad when it ended.
I
like,
was so confused.
we want more movie. Just
Yeah.
end it. 5 more minutes, and it would have been perfect.
Yep.
I was so mad.
It took it down from like a
A
9,
9
maybe
to
a
a
10 to a 7.
Yep, a
and
9
that
to a 7.
just bumped it off the
I was
list for me.
so mad.
If I hadn't seen like one of these movies, Platform would have been my number 10.
Yep, I was so mad because it was so good, and then it just ends. And I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck me, I guess.
Fuck me.
Yeah, fuck me. Number 6 is Vivarium. This movie is spectacular, as Mud mentioned. He mentioned a lot of my points. I'll just add on that and say that this movie starts, like, the first, like, most of it, like, the predominant amount of the movie, actually, is, like, a weird thriller where you don't really know what's happening. And that element of don't really know what's happening ramps up completely towards the end.
Oh, yeah.
There's, in particular, a very specific sequence. And if I can only say, like, if you've seen the movie, you know exactly the sequence I'm talking about, where it's 4 straight minutes of just trip, and it fits the movie completely. And it's the kind of thing that's like under your nails, kind of unsettling, but it's also spectacular.
The second that the sidewalk, I was just like,
I know.
what the actual hell?
And you don't realize that the movie's been building up to that, but it has.
It absolutely has.
Absolutely has, and it so works. And I love the I can't talk about it, but the alternate things that she sees, it's so good.
Mhm.
And honestly, if you're looking for a good time, Vivarium is going to deliver for you if you're
Yeah.
into that weird kind of crap. Number 6.
Number 6. My number 6 of the year is a little ditty called Becky.
Hey, Mud. Same.
Yeah.
Our number, we have a couple in common in a row, I think.
Yeah, I think we're about to hit a stride. So Becky is a home invasion movie. That's basically reverse Home Alone.
Yeah.
Where the bad guy's Kevin James, and he does a great job in this film.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
And oh my god, this movie is so goddamn violent.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's just like, it is pure wish fulfillment, the film. It is this 14-year-old girl, Becky, brutally slaughtering neo-Nazis for an hour and a half.
I don't know why I didn't watch this movie.
I don't know why either.
Slaps. Absolutely slaps.
Absolutely fucking slaps.
Kevin James is a neo-Nazi, a big swastika on the back of his head. He might be one of the best actors in this movie.
There's
Like,
actually
flat
some
out.
like really good like camera work, and
Yep.
like there's amazing.
Oh, the scene in the woods when
where
they're
she's on
talking
the walkie-talkie,
Yup.
and it cuts. So they're talking on walkie-talkies, and the camera is panning back and forth, even though they're in separate parts of the woods, and it uses the pan to hide the cut.
So good.
And every pan is shorter and shorter until they are both on screen looking at each other with a bush in the middle that's not actually there. So good.
Fucking awesome.
Oh my god. And the campfire scene with the dad.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So I only have one little problem with the movie, and it's the thing at the end that I was talking to you about. I think the movie would have been a whole point higher if that didn't happen.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like that.
Even though I was very satisfied when it happened, looking back on it, I'm like, that's a little fucked up.
Yeah. I straight up think that if that didn't happen, it would be a little bit higher.
So, yeah, Becky.
Phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Very, very violent. Very, very fun.
There's no deeper meaning. There's no subtext. It's
it's
just an
a
hour
fun-
and a half of a 14-year-old girl killing Nazis.
Yep. A good, fun time.
Good fun time.
So number 5 for me is a movie that's on neither of your lists anymore, The Gentleman, because I enjoyed it a lot more than you guys. I think it's really fun, really well written. I think it's one of what the hell's the name? Guy Ritchie's most entertaining movies. I love the performances in it, like all but like one. And I think it delivers as far as a good time. However, it's been like 5 months since I've seen it, and I've seen so many movies since then that I can barely tell you about the story, but I just remember liking it.
Listen, I loved The Gentleman. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I've seen better movies at this point. And, like, The Gentleman was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give it, like, a 7 out of 10.
I understand why people like it, but style of film's just not my style.
I understand. It's
And,
definitely my style
yeah.
of film. It's just, I was more gripped by other films. But,
That's the first movie not on my list. That's the best movie I've seen this year that's not on my list, and I think it's like a 5.
So, my number 5
Well,
is
let's
a movie.
talk about this.
Is a movie Ian and I saw in theaters. So I want to give a backstory. I don't remember why, but you weren't around this weekend, so we didn't do a recording. We didn't watch any movies for our show. We didn't do Dealer's Choice. We didn't do Bonthon. So Ian and I were talking, and we were like, "Let's go see a movie. What's out? Call the Wild's out. Okay, what else is out?" So we ended up seeing a little ditty called Emma,
Slapped.
which, for no fucking reason, was phenomenal.
One of the things, the era of film that it's set in.
The
The
costume
the
design's
costume
amazing.
design, like,
The color aesthetic
It's-
of the film, those bright pastels,
I love the color.
and the
yeah.
acting was great.
Anya
It's
Taylor-Joy's
2
great.
hours of Anya Taylor-Joy being an absolute bitch to everyone around her.
And then you
it's
sympathize
so-
with her
and then
because
you
you're like, oh no, this is actually kind of sad.
And then, like, there's a scene where she dances with this boy, and you're like, wow, that is amazing chemistry and sexual tension between the two of them.
Yeah.
We were-
All of the character interaction in this movie is completely believable.
We were the
Yeah.
only two in this theater that were below the age of, like, 40.
40. That's a low number.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure someone was knitting in the front row.
I think that is actually true. We went in with zero expectations. We were like,
Yeah.
let's just go see a movie that's not Call of the Wild. And then, like, I think the day later we went and saw Call of the Wild anyways.
Yep.
I don't know why we did that, but yeah,
hate each
Emma was just a movie that didn't need to be as good as it was.
It was just consistently good too.
It was
That's the
consistently
thing.
good. There was great.
I wasn't like, man, this part sucks. I was like, it's funny, it's charming. I really, really like the cinematography and the color
acting was
grading.
really great.
The acting is fantastic.
It was just like a weird little like period piece.
It's one of those movies that you go into with no expectations and you're like, all right, let's see how it works, and it just works.
It worked on every level.
It's the exact opposite of the Goldfinch last year. We went in and we were like, oh, we don't know anything about this, and it fucking blew.
It was. Yeah. So yeah, Emma, out of nowhere, great film named after my ex-girlfriend.
I don't think it was named after her.
No,
No,
it
I was.
The producers looked at his ex-girlfriend and went, you know what? We got to do Emma.
Yeah.
Just for that.
Fair.
Number 4. This is where we're going to start to get into overlaps and things like that.
That we haven't been doing already?
I know.
Me and Mud doing that 2 times in a row.
More
Jake, you ever
so.
You
know
and I
Robin?
did that 2 times in a row.
Well, mine's Onward.
Mine's Onward.
Mine's the King of Staten Island.
Fuck you. All right, Ian and I, we got Onward going on. We've already done a review of this, so it's going to be a little brief, but let me just say that this is, in classic Pixar fashion, it hits the heartstrings close to home.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yep,
This is one of the best movies on the list. Like,
absolutely.
That's why it's up here, obviously. But genuinely, this movie's fantastic. I love the themes. I love the animation. I love the story. The voice acting's great. It's cute and heartwarming, and you're like, aw.
It's a good time.
They named the little nerdy bitch boy after me, and I'm like, fuck you, Pixar. That's not nice.
Yeah, but you're Tom Holland.
Oh boy, but I'm still a bitch.
You're a magician.
By the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's very true.
He takes the whole movie being a bitch to get there.
I just think it's really funny. Everyone else has like this mystical, magical name, like Barley and Montecore, and then Ian. And it's like, what the fuck?
I'm putting it high on the list simply because Ian is a bitch in this movie, and that makes me happy.
I just think it's fantastic. Pixar knows how to make a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
my
do.
number 4 is the King of Staten Island.
Oh,
We're going to talk about that next, aren't we?
yeah, we're gonna talk about
Okay.
that. Next. Wait, do you want to combine since we're number 3s for Staten Island?
We're literally
I
just
mean,
gonna
you
talk about it.
just combined for Onward.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the 3 of us, because we're right next with King of Staten Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. We can all talk about it at once.
All right.
Anyway, so I'll go first because it's my number 4.
Go right ahead.
Where do I start with this? It's
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
really good movie, like a feel-good comedy, coming-of-age film that really feels like it is for our generation. Because I feel like a lot of the coming-of-age films for our generation are just so like safe.
I feel like they're either really, really safe or they're like Good Boys, where it's like, here's a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Let's play Run the Jewels during the trailer.
It reminds me of
Like,
it, in a way, kind of reminds me of Booksmart, where it's
Yeah.
just like it's a coming of age film for an Arrested Development generation.
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I like this a lot better than Booksmart because Booksmart was a well-written comedy about the 2 leads, whereas this is but also a psychological breakdown and criticism of the main character.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. Which is kind of why it's a bit lower than you guys, because I found the main character so unlikable the entire time. And we were talking about this, and you were like, yeah, but we know people like this. And you're right. And I hate those people.
Well-
I fucking hate them.
I mean, the movie for me, how do I explain this? I really did enjoy watching the main character do what he did.
Yeah.
I didn't empathize with him when he made dumb decisions. I rather pointed at him and laughed at him, but the movie also pointed at him and laughed at him and
Yeah.
kind of
I
took
feel
him
like
down
it
that
really
way.
didn't sometimes. I feel like he got away with a lot of shit he shouldn't have gotten away with.
Oh, 100%. But people in real life get away with shit they shouldn't get away with.
The
Yeah,
only
and
thing
that pisses me off too.
The only thing he got away with that he shouldn't have is that not to
With
spoil anything.
the thing that starts the movie.
No, the where he sends the "you up" text over and over and over again.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
sequence. He should not have gotten away.
I was like that whole. I didn't even think that whole sequence really needed to be in the movie.
I agree, actually.
I disagree.
I understand it was the falling out with his friends and like him starting to realize that his life is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't
Necessarily have to
get
go that way.
wrapped
Yeah.
in very well.
And then after that, they just get dropped out of the movie, and there's still like 40 minutes left.
No, they show up again. They're in the jail.
They
The
have
whole
one-
point.
Yeah, but that's connected to what happened, and that's
Yeah.
there's still 40 minutes left in the film after that.
I think that those characters served the purpose that they were there for, and they worked really well. And the follow up in the jail with the phone calls was actually really funny.
There was a good joke there, don't get me wrong, but having a good joke doesn't make me feel like, yes, I'm glad we've devoted like 15 to 20 minutes of this 2 hour and 10
I
minute
think it
comedy.
also had some really good character moments
Yeah,
in that,
I-
and furthered his main story. I think all the characters in the movie further the main character's dumb or smart decisions, mostly dumb.
I mean, yeah, but
well, I think that was the smart decision at that point because he was like realized not a smart decision, but it was like a character realization moment for him.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, these are
I still think it went on too long, and that whole subplot could have been cut out.
I really liked how the movie very, very slowly builds on this arc of him learning how to be
A regular
a
human.
regular human at all.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely not. He's just a big bitch. And towards the end of the movie, when he's like washing fire trucks and stuff, he goes back to his mom and is like, all right, I learned how to work. I'm ready to come
yeah,
back
and
to
she's
the
like,
house.
fuck you. You did it for a
She's
day.
like, oh no, one day.
It's been
That's
one day.
so funny.
That's like the best stupid scene in the whole movie. It's
I
like-
like that scene a lot because it also points at the trope of like with these coming of age films. It's like, oh, I did one good thing. I'm perfect forever
Yes,
now.
everything's redeemed. Like, no.
And the joke right before that when he's like, why are we washing the fire truck? What's the point? It's just gonna get dirty. You trying to show up sexy to a fire? That's funny.
That's also really cool.
He had some good lines.
Yeah, it's good, cool in context of the movie too, because the two fire guys are watching him do it, and like the whole point of the scene is visual, where they're just like, yeah, he's learning how to actually do work. The whole
And
point
he's
is doing
making
work,
fun of it while he's doing it.
and
they're
he's
like-
missing the point completely.
And Steve Buscemi's like, I like him.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's how I do work when like at like my old job when I got like the manual labor, I'd be like, this is fucking stupid, and I complained the whole time, but I still did the work.
Yeah.
Although the difference is that your boss doesn't want you to learn humility. He's just
No,
doing
you're
it.
right. But I would be in Steve Buscemi's chair where like the next guy would come in and he'd be like, why do I have to do this manual work? And I'd be like, because you need to learn how to fucking work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go clean that shit.
No, I really
Exactly.
like, and I like the end of the movie.
I
like,
enjoyed the end of the movie.
I like how it's left open because his journey's not over yet.
Yeah.
I really like that.
I really enjoyed him making up with, I think her name was Kelsey.
Yes.
Yes.
That emotional through line really carried the movie for me.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
fantastic.
yeah.
I like the last scene with his mom too. I think the payoff in this movie is well worth the time. I feel like
I agree. The payoff is the reason why it's at number 4. If this movie didn't have such an emotionally resonating payoff, it probably wouldn't have even cracked the top 10 for me. It wouldn't have even been here.
I thought it was fantastic.
I loved it. I love the story it was telling, and I
And
loved
it made me laugh so hard, man.
Yeah.
I laughed my ass off at this.
That's one of the things that I really, really enjoy. I just like watching a lot of the movies on my list are like dark or violent or politically charged, and it's like
And you know
I
what?
want fun.
Yeah, Pete Davidson's performance was spectacular
Oh, yeah.
in the lead role.
Yep.
He really like if he did not do as good, the message does not come across as well
Yeah.
in the movie.
He plays idiot very well. Big Time Adolescence also shows he plays idiot very well.
He does.
So that was our number 3. So Mud, what's your number 3?
Oh, it's Onward. Because that movie slaps.
It did slap.
It slaps the entire time, and the main characters are all likable. I don't have much else to say. You guys really summed it up very well, and we have a review of it.
yeah, we have a
That's
big
not
review.
that old.
Yep. All right, number 2, Bad Education. This movie is so fucking good. Ian talked very highly of some parts, but thought overall the movie did not grip him. It gripped the fuck out of me. It was so good. And I guess because like I knew it was a true story ahead of time,
also
maybe
knew
that,
that.
yeah, maybe that added to the enjoyment of it for me. But there's so many subtle, interesting little things that the characters do to each other throughout. Mostly Hugh Jackman.
Oh,
Hugh
yeah.
Jackman and Allison Janney.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Him acting the shit out of this movie. I mean,
Oh yeah, he was fantastic.
I don't want to say he carries it because everyone else also does really good, but fuck does he carry it sometimes. Oh my god, it's so fucking good. And then the writing kind of feeds into that. Like you mentioned it, but like the necklace scene where like she's like, "Oh hey, the budget isn't right," and he's like, "Hey, nice necklace. Where'd you
buy that?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Remember where you bought that? Yeah,
And
that's
he rattles
really
off
good.
She's like,
Too.
I could tell. And it's like, nice necklace. And she's like, fuck.
There's so much drama like dripping as like after the halfway point, every scene just has so much fucking ironic, dramatic irony and stuff like that, and also like really good character moments. And
I agree.
it's just the kind of stuff I live for. This is why I like movies. God damn it.
Yes.
Fucking love Bad Education.
So I feel like Ian and I are going to talk about a movie together. My number 2 of the year, The Silver Medal, is a movie we've reviewed twice now, so I'm not going to have much to say, but it's The Invisible Man.
Wow, Mud. I hate to jump in, but my number 2 is The Invisible Man.
Wow, guys, I know I'm next with my number 1, but it's The Invisible Man.
All right, so
I won't say much.
I'm just going to be straight up. Listen, if you want to know my opinions on it, we have a review and we have a commentary.
Y'all
That's
watch-
all I'm going to say.
Watch the dealer's
Because there's
choice.
nothing else I can say about this movie that I haven't already said.
Let's just end
in a
with our
prior
scores.
video.
What do we give it?
9.
9.
I'd also say 9.
Fucking
So, yeah.
slapped.
Link in the
slap.
description to our review and to our commentary.
Yep.
Watch this movie.
That was my
Absolutely.
number 1. So, Mud, what's your number 1?
My number 1 for the year is Bad Education.
Yes!
This movie didn't grip Ian. This movie gripped you. This movie jerked me off. Holy shit.
So good.
It was so good and so engaging the entire time, and it's based on a true story. Holy shit. Not only that, it takes place in Long Island, New York, which isn't where my girlfriend's from, but it's adjacent to where my girlfriend's from. So I have an idea of like these neighborhoods and these people and these jerk offs. And I was like, wow, this is like a really well done period piece. Of
Yeah, I've met
2002.
people like these people.
Yeah, you're right. And Hugh Jackman's so charismatic. It's amazing how this movie has really very little going on for the first 40 minutes. And then it just takes a turn, and you're so enthralled the entire time. The acting in it's phenomenal. I loved the subplot of the student newspaper being the ones who find everything
I
out.
think that was the best part of the movie.
She is so good. And that scene where he intimidates her,
Mm-hmm.
like, that is the
Yes.
moment. That's when the mask comes off.
Yes.
And you see who this guy is underneath. And that final sequence when he's in prison and he's still just dreaming of his school being the best. This is a great film about a guy who did bad and selfish things, but ultimately is not a bad person. I did some brushing up on the backstory to this. The person who wrote this movie went to these schools during the time that this happened. I think he was only in middle school though, so he wasn't in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And he said originally when he was writing the script, I wanted to just slam this guy and show what the monster he was. But then he watched like a bunch of interviews of people from when it happened, and they all talked about how great of a guy he was. And that's when he realized he should make this layered piece where he's actually the good guy or the hero or the protagonist.
Well, he's someone who's caught in a bad situation and chooses to do a bad thing in it.
Well,
you know?
I wouldn't know about he put himself in this situation himself.
Right.
He's
Well, I mean, like he discovered that there was a problem with the books.
No,
but
he also contributed to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
He was also cooking the books. No, it's a good guy doing a bad thing, but he's still doing a lot of good. And it's that morally gray character that I just am so enthralled by in films. So this movie is a fucking 10, and it's my only 10 on the list. Bad Education.
It's not a 10, but it's a hard 9 from me.
It's a hard
loved
10.
And
I am hard.
I don't have a 10 on my list, and I'm really upset because normally I have like 3 to 5. It makes me so upset. But I think one of you talked about it. I don't know if Mud talked
Both of
about
us
it.
talked about it.
Good. The Five Bloods. I fucking loved it. I didn't have nearly as many narrative problems as Mud did. Me and him were talking about it a little bit. And I didn't have nearly as many narrative problems or problems with character motivation. Because in the situation they were in, I understand the stress that it could be put under, especially with the war that they were previously in there with.
Yeah.
It can cloud your decision making if you're kind of fucked up a little bit.
Yep.
That being said, Spike Lee knows how to direct the movie.
Fuck yeah, he does.
The characters, the acting, the interaction between all of them is so much fun and so interesting. And the aspect ratio changes. I never thought I'd be able to see that done well in a film.
I agree.
It's like, boop, 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 and it's like, fuck you, Michael Bay. Watch this one. Do
yeah,
this.
yeah. Relevant to your
Like-
point. Transformers: The Last Night
Does
just
that
swaps
800 times,
Yep.
and it's so
between
bad.
IMAX and 70 millimeter and like 10 other cameras, and it's so annoying.
I didn't notice it at first until I was like, oh my god, wait. Fuck yeah. It's so subtle and
It is.
so beautifully made. And again, soundtrack slaps. It's just so much fun.
Soundtrack
and
in
so
this movie is
beautiful
amazing.
and has such a good message about like brotherhood and keeping together and not attacking the people that you are close to and pushing them away. And obviously the stuff at the end of the movie, the
Yeah.
political stuff. And it's like, I like this. This
Yeah.
is a movie that I thoroughly enjoyed the whole time. I felt for the characters and I felt bad for these characters. I was like, when what happens to Paul happens, I'm like, oh, Paul, you're such an asshole, but I love you.
Yeah.
Like, I love him so much. He's my favorite character in the whole movie. And I'm like, man, I don't like a lot of the stuff that you're talking about and doing, but like, I feel for you.
Yeah.
And that's one of the
You really
best
understand
ways
these
to,
characters.
like, if you write a character that I genuinely do not agree with and do not like, but I feel so bad for, it's just like, that's good writing. And I feel like this movie has some of the strongest writing, some of the best acting. All the guys did phenomenal.
Oh yeah, there's not a bad actor in this movie.
And it's genuinely interesting and gripping. And like you were talking about with the mine scene, oh my fucking
Oh,
god.
dude,
Okay.
with a scene of the sun with the rope.
Oh, it's
Oh my
so
God.
good.
That's the same scene.
No, it's
Later on, same
later
scene.
There's a
on,
different,
same
yeah,
scene.
there's
Yep.
several, but yeah.
Oh my
You know,
God.
I'm gonna say something. Fucking flashbacks, dude.
Oh,
Yes.
they're so good.
Fucking flashbacks in this movie are amazing.
Yep.
I love how they were their old selves in the flashbacks to
Yeah.
show that they hadn't moved on.
Yeah.
Up until the final shot.
And the final flashback, they're all young again. Yep.
Yes.
I
was-
noticed
that was
that.
really
and it's
good.
so fucking good.
So good.
I understand where you guys are coming from with not liking certain parts, but I didn't get hooked up on them.
That's fine.
when I was watching the movie.
I mean,
thought it
to
was
be fair,
absolutely phenomenal.
I know it's lower on my list, but I gave it an 8 out of 10. You're giving it a 9, so I
Yeah.
want to make it clear I do really enjoy The Five Bloods.
But I understand exactly what you guys are talking about as well.
Hey, Are the
I
Five
think it's
Bloods
phenomenal.
is Ian's bad education.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of comes around like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think overall this movie was a big slapper. A little long, but a big slapper. This year so far, pretty fun. That being said, I have 10 good movies and 10 movies I would never watch again.
This year so far, simply in the relation of quality of movies, has been good, and literally nothing else as far as this year.
I think it's been okay. I would rather have seen a couple 10s at this point. I know last year our lists had at least a couple of bangers.
Our list had Rocket Man on it at
Like-
this point last year. Yeah, that's our top 10 of the year so far. Hopefully we will have completely or almost completely different movies on this list by the end of the year.
I'll be
I
surprised
think
if
a couple are gonna stay. I
I'm
think
surprised if Bad Education and Invisible Man drop off my list.
I'd
I
be
usually
really
have about
surprised,
I
yeah.
usually have about 2 or 3 movies that manage to hold over from the beginning of the year.
Yep.
Like last year, Rocket Man and Lego Movie were my numbers 1 and 2.
Lego Movie stayed high for me whole last year.
John
I'm
Wick.
amazed. Lego Movie was my number 1 up until September.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen.
we don't know what's
because
gonna happen, but
What if Tenet gets fucking delayed 7 more times?
it's already
We
been
don't even
delayed
get
to
to watch it.
August.
Yeah. Well.
Yep.
Um,
I like how I was like, oh, that's like the only thing I'm looking forward to, and then later that day it got moved 2 more weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, all right,
It's whatever. We just have to endure. So
Yes, we will. It's okay.
see
We have
you,
legalsites.com to help us out.
legal.com.
we'll see you guys at the end of the year with our top 10. That's 9 of the same movies, and then just something we saw on stream.
Yep.
Yeah.